I'd been living my whole life on a lie.
시장관 사이에 애가 없어졌더라고요.
I deserve the truth, and so does my family in Korea.
한국의 거대한 시스템이 한국의 엄마 혹은 가족으로 하여금 비자발적으로 아이와 이별하게 되는 사건이 사건의 출발점이에요.
I have collected more than 50,000 pages of evidence. What we can prove is that it has never been about saving children.
사건의 지평선에 한번 밀려 들어가면 다시 못 나오잖아요. 그런 것처럼 재회가 참 그렇게 간단한 일이 아니다. 그렇다면 이 사태는 본인들이 자발적으로 원한 거냐? 아니라는 거죠.
Back in the 60s and 70s, you had the liberation of women, access to the P-pill, also access to abortion. That meant that the domestic adoption systems in many of the receiving countries broke down. There was no longer this surplus of domestic children to be adopted, so people went outside to look at international adoption, and that's why adoption was made. So the demand for children weighed heavier than the rights of children. So that brings adoption into a whole new light.
종이가 있어서 이거를 이렇게 찢으면 소리도 나고 찢기는 아픔이 있죠. 그럼 이쪽에 상처가 생기듯이 이쪽에도 상처가 생기죠. 그래서 입양인들도 이별의 아픔을 겪고 헤어진 친가족도 아픔을 겪는 거예요. 근데 이런 아픔에 대해서 한국 사회가 주의 깊게 민감하게 살펴보지 못했어요. 불의 집은 2003년 7월에 설립이 됐고요. 그러니까 지금으로 치면은 아마 한 22년 됐습니다. 입양이라고 하는 것은 사실상 이별의 경험이에요. 그러니까 친생모와 이별하고 때로는 버림받았다고 입양인들은 느껴요. 그리고 그 큰 가족들, 그리고 사회, 그리고 나라가 그 사람들이 이 세상에 도착했을 때 따뜻하게 환대해야 하는데 그거를 경험하는 대신에 오히려 거부당하고 그리고 바깥 나라로 송출당한 그런 경험이죠. 일종의 거절의 경험이 그들에게는 굉장히 깊이 각인되어 있다고 생각하고 모국을 방문할 때 그들을 다시 한번 환대함으로써 그들의 거절의 경험이 남긴 아픔이 조금이라도 좀 부드럽게 챙겨줬으면 하는 그런 마음으로 이 불의 집을 운영하는 거죠.
We allow ourselves to be called, the Adoptees Embassy in Korea, because where are we supposed to go when we have these administrative issues? Where usually you would go to your embassy, when you need a new passport or when you need to register something, when you go to vote, you go to your embassy. But where do the adoptees go when it is specifically related to our adoption? This is a smaller office now, but for 19 years, KoRoot had quite a big guest house. And so that literally was the place to go to meet other adoptees. And so from the discussions there around the dinner table, that's really where we could start identifying issues. What is lacking, what needs to get done.
그들의 정체성의 회복의 여정에 동참한다는 매우 조심스러운 마음으로 모든 서비스를 사실은 제공하는데 결국은 이 사람들이 가장 중요하게 가지고 있는 내면의 욕구는 가족을 찾는 일과 한국인으로서의 자기 자신의 잃어버린 정체성을 조금이나마 맛보기를 원하는 거라고 할까요?
My name is Lisa and I'm from Sweden. I was adopted to Sweden when I was about 7 months old. and yeah, I lived there all my life, and now I'm back to Korea for the first time.
We help adoptees, I would say, on several different levels. It could be an individual case. We have every week a lot of adoptees sending us, asking us for help, finding either family, biological family, but also background information. The big question is for all adoptees, where do I come from? We all know that we are not born on an airplane, but if you look at our documents, adoption documents, we don't have any information of the time before we arrived with an airplane.
They started looking at my papers, and we went to the office down here to get some reversed hojok, and we went to another place to try to find out more about my background.
We travel all over the country. We go to orphanages, public offices, to see if we can find information about the adoptees. Then we also work on, you can say, the systemic level. We communicate with politicians and also public authorities to give them an understanding of how important this is.
돈을 중심으로 더 많은 아이를 입양하려고 했기 때문에 아이를 인수할 때부터 아이의 기록부터 그 다음에 부모 찾는 일부터 이런 모든 것들이 사실은 돈만 벌면 무조건 했어요. 그러니까 그 얘기는 그 시스템 하를 지나가는 모든 사람들이 인권 침해를 받은 거예요.
Adoptees should not have had to live through this. Their families should not have had to experience this. So we want the truth and we want reconciliation. So that's really, I think, the fundament, the basis of KoRoot. It's more than anything human rights.
The end goal is to change the system. I think the biggest challenge is, I would say, is actually to have the different authorities who are in charge of, who are the gatekeepers of the information of adoptees. For 60, 70 years, different governmental bodies, they have been responsible for adoption. But it's very difficult to obtain information on behalf of the adoptees.
70년 동안, 60년 동안 한국은 아이들의 강제 입양을 한 다음에 그 아이의 신분을 조작했어요. 그래서 자기의 출생의 진실이 없는 사람이 됐어요. 그래서 가족을 찾기가 이렇게 어려운 거예요.
And we can say after the the report from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, we also understand why, because there has been a lot of falsifications and fraud in adoption.
When they go back and look at their documents, and they can kind of see that in themselves, that oops, something is wrong here. You know, I landed in, we have one case of that in Denmark. She landed in Denmark before she was released from the orphanage in Korea. So obviously, I mean, that can't be correct. And then start asking the next questions.
So what we're looking at also is theft of children. Looking at a case where the biological parents have been told that the child was born dead, was stillborn, but in fact the child was alive. So we have talked with biological parents, and they have testified about what happened back then. So we have proofs, different proof of this. Also, many adoptees have come forward many years after they were adopted and told that they could remember when they were abducted in Korea.
Sometime in 1976, when I was about 6 years old or 7 years old, I was kidnapped off of the streets in a outdoor market in Daejeon City. And it was there that a strange man kidnapped me, took me to an apartment, and kept me there overnight. The man came back to the apartment and took me with him to Sangshil Children's Home in Daejeon City.
And I think the biggest barrier is actually to give the information to the adoptees without fear of being sued, or fear of going to prison. Many of the things are very serious crimes.
There's been a case in Korea of the death of a domestic adoptee who had died by the hands of her adoptive mother. And so that raised a lot of issues about the domestic adoptee system and whether the interviewing process and the verification and how you choose really the adoptive parents, if that is proper, if that's sufficient. There's also a lot of debate about child abuse. So a lot of us in Korea had gathered again and start talking about these issues.
예를 들어서 구름에 만약에 어마어마한 독소가 퍼져 있는 구름이 비가 되어서 내리면 그 아래를 지나가는 사람들은 그 다 피해를 보잖아요. 입양 시스템이 그렇게 굉장히 악한 시스템이었어요. 사람들을 해치는 시스템이었어요. 그래서 그거를 고치기 위해서 그 이후에 계속 노력을 해서 2023년에 입양특례법 전부 개정안을 만들어서 모든 포스트, 그러니까 첫째 아이를 인수하는 단계, 보호하는 단계, 그 다음에 입양 적격성 판단하는 단계, 부모의 입양 적격성 판단하는 단계, 가정법원 재판제도, 그 다음에 아이들을 해외로 갈 때 부모들이 다 와서 데리고 가는 이런 방식으로 전체를 바꿔서 아이의 인권 친화적인 법으로 2023년에 이제 법을 다 바꿨어요. 그러니까 법제를 개혁해 가는 과정이 입양인의 삶의 환경을 새롭게 가꿔주는 거니까 한편으로 환대의 방법은 두 가지인데 개인적으로 따뜻한 경험을 하는 거지만 동시에 사회 자체가 따뜻해져서 이 사람들이 따뜻하게 대접을 받을 수 있는 혹은 대접이라는 게 아니라 트리트, 인간이 마땅하게 받아야 할 그런 받는 시스템으로 사회를 쭉 바꿔나가는 작업을 했고
One of the biggest changes is that we have succeeded in making a law that meaning that all the documents from the private adoption companies are centralized into the government to protect and to preserve the documents. That gives hope that we soon can get insight into our real documents. We also know that there are double archives in the adoption agencies. So one set of documents with the made-up story, and then there's another set of documents with the real, true background information. So of course we're interested in having access to the true, real information.
So we do need the laws to make sure that our rights are protected and enforced. We need all these laws to be implemented. And I think that's what we've been looking more closely at the past 3-4 years, to say that, well, we actually have very good international conventions, we have domestic laws. Korea is actually very good in that way, but nothing really happens. So the National Assembly will decide on one thing, but then it really doesn't filter down the system. So of course we need that as the end user. We need the laws to filter down for us to really feel a difference. So yes, that is certainly important. Otherwise, you know, the law has no effect, it has no meaning.
We see this as a challenge, but also as a challenge we work to change. And right now the politicians and a lot of the ministries, they are interested in listening to us, and they promise to make change.
What we have seen a little bit the past 3 years, and then suddenly the past month, is that reporters, scholars, researchers, they actually come to us and ask, so what is this? What do you want then? What do we do now? What can we do for you? And I mean, that's a dream scenario.
One very important thing is that even the newly elected president of Korea went out just before Chuseok and made a public apology.
이재명 대통령은 과거 해외 입양 과정에서 일어난 인권 침해에 대해 사과하고 입양인의 삶을 지키겠다고 약속했습니다. 이 대통령은 오늘 SNS를 통해 그간 고통받은 해외 입양인과 가족의 진심 어린 사과와 위로의 말씀을 드린다며 이같이 밝혔습니다.
정부의 새 아동정책 기본계획이 발표됐습니다. 아동 수출국이라는 오명의 원인으로 지목된 해외 입양에 대해선 단계적인 중단을 추진하겠다고 했고 현재 8세까지 지급되는 아동수당의 지급 대상은 장기적으로 13세까지 확대될 것으로 보입니다.
When we started here in Korea in August 2022, I don't think many had expected that this would have a ripple effect. So what Korea started in 2022 has actually resulted in investigations in several countries around the world: Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Belgium, France, Switzerland, and I have heard that Australia is also preparing some kind of investigation. The interesting thing is that the conclusions made in Korea are the same conclusions in the receiving countries. So that means that we are looking at the same landscape, you can say, from different buildings, but the landscape is the same. So now we can see that it's a good starting point for making worldwide changes. One thing is that we ask for changes, but also to describe them very detailed, what kind of changes to be made.
Still, a lot needs to get done, but I think after the TRC conclusion came out, then we try to get an understanding of the types of cases that had been, recognized as violation of human rights. Because being an adoptee, then that's not really the issue. It is the process of what happened. So we identified 5 different types of cases, and you could say that the remedies for each type is a little different. So we are pursuing, both something actions here in Korea and overseas in the receiving countries. So that is, of course, we have to talk about civil lawsuits. We also have to talk about criminal actions, because the people who, did this obviously need to be held accountable.
And I know also in the adoption community, a lot of people are very angry. I think what we stand for here in KoRoot is that, of course, we also, when we hear about all these stories, that also makes us angry. But we also understand that we can't use the anger to change anything. I don't think there's evidence in world history that anger has ever changed anything into something good. So we can't change the past, but we can change the now and we can change the future.
지난 70년 동안 이 일로 인해서 곤경을 겪었던 사람들에 대한 진정성 있는 응답을 선진 국가들이나 한국과 같은 나라들에서 송출 국가나 수련 국가들이 함께 해야 된다. 그런 함께 해야 될 시대가 왔고, 입양인들의 목소리를 경청하라. 그 목소리에 어울리게 사회를 재구성하는 일에, 담론을 재구성하는 일에, 인간의 감성을 재구성하는 일에 나서달라. 그런 얘기를 하고 싶어요. 한국도 그렇게 하기 위해서 노력하고 있다. 그래 말씀드리고 싶습니다.